I'm Brenda Finkbeiner with Reserved Seating Upholstery, and today we're going to be showing you how to take a restaurant seat, how to determine the current fit of it, how to measure to have a replacement cover made, and how to make a pattern. So first thing that you want to do, so we've taken the restaurant seat obviously out of the booth, and we want to determine the fit because many times these could have been recovered 3-4 times, and you have people recovering them with varying degrees of skill. And so before you make a pattern from an existing booth seat, always a good idea to make sure you like the current fit. So the primary area you want to look at fit are on the sides, because that's where we're going to make our primary pattern from for purposes of sewing. So in this case, the fit is nice. It's taut, and to me it looks very good. I will say that when you get into these restaurant seats, it's always a very good idea to carry some cleaner with you. I've taken booth seats out before, and this end may have been along a wall, and a lot of times there's a lot of food and crumbs and stuff, and I mean you can pull them out sometimes and they can be pretty disgusting. So good idea to have some cleaner with you. A little scuff pad, wipe it off. And you can see I wasn't very aggressive with that, but look at the dirt that I got off of there. So anyway, you'll be well served to keep some cleaner with you. So we'll put that aside because this is fine. So now I'm going to turn it over so we can look at the fit on the inside. And you can see it does have like quite a few wrinkles here. But I'm okay with that because you really couldn't see that from, it being in the booth. So that looks okay to me. When you measure the length of the booth seat, it's very important to measure it from this side. So in other words, if you just looked at the top, sometimes you have people that are like, I'm not going to take it out. I'll just measure it, the top of it. Maybe they take a tape measure and they're going to just measure from this seam down to here. So measuring that way, I get 41 inches, okay? So let's see what we get when we take it out and measure it. So what I like to do is measure it from wood to wood. So we want to know from one end of the wood to the other, how long is it? Now you're getting 42 inches. An inch can be a big difference in whether or not this is going to fit after you have the replacement cover made. So again, you always want to measure from that end. It's very important. So we know it's 42 inches long, so we make record of that. And so now what we're going to do is pattern from this side. Once you have the pattern made, like this side is going to be the same as this side. And generally when you get into a restaurant, generally speaking, and nothing is 100%, I've been on a lot of restaurants and I've been surprised many times, but generally speaking, the booth seats are all the same. So once you make one pattern, you're pretty much good for all the booth seats. The caution is that the lengths will be different. So if you're from one side of the restaurant to the other side, or even from just one table to a table very close to it, the lengths can be different. So don't assume that every booth seat's going to be 42 inches. Some of them will be obvious. You might have a 42 and there will be a 65-inch long one. You can tell that's different. But I've also seen where, one is 42 inches and a few booths away, they're 44 inches. So, visually with your eye, you might just think it's the same. So you do want to, double check and make sure. So something you'll need to have in your toolkit is this basting tape, and we're going to be using this to make our pattern. So this is two-sided tape. It's sticking on two sides, both sides. So you're going to wrap this around the inside. See if I can turn this so you can see it better. You're going to wrap it right around the inside of this seam. So you want to make sure that it's tight down there. Alright, now the tricky part sometimes is pulling this top white piece off. Okay. So that we have just the sticky sided tape. Now this is pattern making material. I like this. It's a thin cloth. It's easy to write on, and I don't know if you can see, has light blue lines. It's 1-inch squares all the way around. So, you know, it's very, very easy to use. So I'm going to put this on the tape. I usually leave some extra at the top because you'll need to make some seam allowance. It's easier for me just to make it right on this pattern. So you want to make sure to the best of your ability that there are no wrinkles in here. Because again, this is what we will be using to make our pattern. So now I'm going to be drawing right along that seam line, and you'll be able to feel it. So you kind of take your fingers and go along. I like to use these big pencils. If you have a kindergartner at home, they probably have some of these, because these are the pencils that we used to learn to write with. But they're very nice because you know, if you use ink pens, sometimes you get ink on material that you don't want to get it on or something like that. So, you know, these are nice. They're pretty forgiving. So I'm going to draw a line right inside the seam, and you kind of feel along. And you'll be able to get the pencil pretty much right in there. It's not too hard, but it is a very critical step, because if this is off, everything's kind of off. Okay, so now I have a line drawn, which is perfect. I usually write the name of the account. Oh, I'm writing upside down. So I'll just put job. So put the job name up here, and then I usually would write top up here. And I always try to mark right down here, just roughly. Put the bottom. And I usually make a note to add wrap. Wrap is what you're going to put underneath, so you have enough staple allowance for you. So usually make a note to add the wrap there. So basically, that's all there really is to making a pattern. Then you just pull this off. And in the case of working with reserved seating upholstery, this is something that you would mail to us. With the measurement we took here, that was 42 inches, you'd mail this with that measurement, and you would tell me how many of these booth seats you wanted. Now, very commonly, you'll go into a restaurant, and you might need, let's say you need 4 42-inch booth seats, and you need 4 65-inch booth seats, and 2 72-inch, or whatever. You just would make those. I only need one pattern for the end, assuming that all the ends are the same. Also, if you would like, we can send you a fit pattern. So if you're just starting out, that's a really good idea to do. So what a fit pattern is I would just take this end and sew, probably, maybe a foot of fabric on it, and you could take it back to the restaurant and just make sure it fits. That's just some double protection, so you make sure that you have a good pattern. You'll notice on the bottom of these seat covers, this one, this is actually a very, very comfortable seat. It's very nice and well made. It has the springs in it, really nice to sit on. And you'll notice this one that I have here is just flat wood. So this one just has foam on the wood. You're going to see, as you get into doing restaurant seats, you'll see all kinds of different varieties of how these seats are made. I personally have not found much of a standard, if you will. They all just seem to be constructed differently. So a lot of them are custom. It just depends on who's building them. But anyway, that's how you make a pattern. So if you have any questions, just let us know. Call us or email us, and we'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.